I'm going to do an insight video today. I've had a lot of things come through lately around ascended masters and ascension and anchoring light and sort of opening up to our source energy. And the more I sort of like go on this spiritual path, the more I'm becoming more and more connected to light workers and the purpose of being what a light worker is, which is about like ascension, which is going back to oneness, back to the realms of light. It's about bringing healing. It's about anchoring to the planet. It's about being a channel for transmissions of knowledge and wisdom, and sort of being here and awakening and looking at how we can, as collectively, start to shift and change reality on the planet, but also shift and change our own reality. This morning I was walking back from work, not from work, from my wife's work, and the name Lord Kuthumi came through. I think that's how I think I'm saying it right, but obviously I haven't had sort of a major sort of connection to this master or this energy before. Kuthumi, Lord Kuthumi, I think it is. I'm sure somebody will correct me on it. It's hard to pronounce the names of masters. Some of them have got really long names, and it's quite difficult in human form to sometimes pronounce them. But this master's come through this morning, and it's very much connected to some of the stuff I've had over the last couple of days. Like I was sat there in the gym yesterday, and I've been listening to a lot about like light workers and angels and ascended masters and archangels, and that kind of energy and frequency, and they're all connected to the sixth dimensional frequency, which is like the realms of light, where we go through the fourth, and then we go to the sixth. As we move over, and we move back into source, and we move back into the realms of light. And so this is the transmissions that we're getting at the moment, like from the masters and the other guys and the archangels, and they all sort of like really live in these ethereal realms of the sixth dimension, which are the light realms. And this Lord Kuthumi, it was talking about. So I was looking into it, and he was talking about the laws of light. And like so like we talk about universal laws, and we talk about the laws of light, and I feel this is something that's coming on more and more at the moment. Is the more I connect into these light vibrations, these light frequencies, it's like I'm being asked, or I feel I'm being impressed to walk as this light and express it. But it's also about illumination. So what does illumination mean as a spiritual being? And I felt like I was connecting into it today. And illumination isn't one thing. It's more or less two things. It's about a balance of state of harmony. It's about awakening, awareness, and ascension. But illumination is also like the universe. I've always sort of like believed the universe sort of like it works in a cycle of like giving and receiving. And I've said that the right way, because usually I would open myself up as a channel to receive energy, and then I would express the light, and I'd try and give it. But what I was being told today is like the universe works along unconditional. So in a sense, like you give and then you receive, because it's unconditional. So when you sort of like give unconditionally, then you start to receive the light, you receive the energy, you receive the energy that sustains you, you receive that light, that vibration, that frequency. And that's source energy. Source energy is unconditional. So by giving, you're opening up your own channel to receive that vibration, that frequency. Illumination is also about transmission, a transmission of knowledge, wisdom, understanding, insight, awareness, and this is what this time's about. So like a Lord Kuthumi, is about sort of illumination, but that also connects to Lord Lanto. And Lord Lanto is like this illumination, and the many masters that walked this plane, the Great White Brotherhood, were all about illumination. And what they were doing is they were opening up to the unconditional source energy, and they were receiving that. So they were illuminated. They were at these light vibrations, these light frequencies, and as spiritual beings, we started to see that. And this is again also connects to, I want to talk about this concept of heaven on earth. Well, the spiritual realms, to me, like heaven is these light realms, these light realities, these light dimensions, these light frequencies. and sort of like heaven on earth is that, you know, that when we start to awaken to that, to me it's like this is what it brings through. So heaven on earth in like the Christ teachings and like the ascended master of like Jesus was very much about bringing heaven on earth, but it was really about the awakening and the awareness that we're light beings, and you know, we're part of those light frequency, we're part of source energy, and there's no disconnection, there's no separation. Again, this is what the teaching's about. Illumination is about sort of like opening up to receive that those transmissions, to receive that knowledge, that sort of wisdom and those light frequencies. But if you're illuminated and you're vibrating with light and energy, then you're connected, you're in one, you're in that oneness vibration, you're in that ascension vibration, which is the ascension is really about sort of like opening up and realizing that you are a spiritual being of light and energy, and that's where you come from, that's where you were born from, that and you were born from source. So the awakening is, and the ascension is knowing that you are that vibration, that you are a being of energy and light, and that you walk and express that. And when you do that, then you create this vibrational frequency within your own energy field. And as you walk around, then what you do is other people and other beings sort of resonate with that, and then that illuminates them, that lights, that sort of allows them to awaken and gain that awareness. Awareness is really, really important, and the more we become aware, the more we start to hold more frequencies, and we hold more sort of vibrations of light and energy in ourselves. But then again, that expands our consciousness. And this is what was happening in the times of Lemuria and Atlantis, that we were able as spiritual beings to keep that connection going. And that's why it seems such an evolved society and evolved spiritual society, because they were still connected to source, they were connected to these realms of light, these energies, or these infinite sort of like realities and sort of like realms of light. And this is where we were able to keep our channels open and keep sort of communicating, expressing with these different sort of beings. And this is where like the Great White Brotherhood, or the teachers of light, or the masters of light, they were so close to the planet, because we were sort of still open. We were open as spiritual beings to sort of like communicate, and we were still connected to that source energy, which is this infinite sort of one vibration of a collective. And this is what this time's about again, and this is like the new dawning, or the awakening in a sense. So a lot of us sort of like, we're starting to awaken to this. I had something yesterday as well, where I was sitting there and I was just connecting in, and I kept seeing keys. But something I was listening to yesterday was talking about like the law of process, and the law of process was talking about, as we go for this spiritual journey, sometimes sort of like we see a goal, or we see sort of something that we're trying to move towards, and it feels like out of our reach. And sometimes what we need to do is just like break it down into smaller steps, or to smaller sort of chunks, just to sort of like, we can reach it, we can get to that goal, but sometimes there's processes, or there's other steps that we need to take to get there. And the thing is, sometimes it takes faith and trust, and sort of to know that you're going to get there. But like keys were like symbolic when they were coming through yesterday. Like I see this golden key in my mind's eye now, and these keys sort of like open up sort of like opportunities to sort of like expand and grow, and it's sort of like these keys work as, you know, their insights and their knowledge and their wisdom, that as we sort of like collect them on the way, then we start to open up, and we start to see that we can start to move towards, you know, becoming more sort of spiritually evolved and grow. But we can also sort of like, we can achieve these goals that we're looking for, and they're not out of our reach, because actually they're just creation. And this is what source is. Source is this creation, this creative sort of vibration and frequency that we have. And sometimes that, you know, we sort of like, we open up, and we're looking to try and sort of like go along these stepping stones to receive that, and it's just like one step at a time sometimes. But also creation is this process where we start to open up, and we start to see that we are going to get there, but there's no limitations, there's no barriers in that way, because we're already creating in this moment. We're already in creation. We are creation itself, and sort of like, so we start to open up to that. sort of like it. The archangel Raziel brings his universal truth, his universal sort of like wisdom and understanding, and that's a great archangel to call upon when you're trying to gain more insight, more wisdom, to apply to your life and to your reality. You've also got like Melchizedek, who's part of the Great White Brotherhood and the Order of Melchizedek, who's this universal teacher, and he brings this great insight and wisdom into like the universal knowledge that's around us and that we can use. But yeah, there's so much going on at the moment. There's so much where, and I keep sort of like illumination. I keep coming back to illumination because it's so important to walk as that source light, that source energy, and this is what illumination is. Because once you start to do that, then you're opening up to the vibration and the frequency, but you're also opening up to the guidance, the understanding, the teachers, the masters around you. And this is why it's so important to walk around and sort of express that light, because what it does is it opens you up to give unconditionally, and it opens you up to receive, and it opens up your channel to it. It starts to become into perfect harmony. It becomes in perfect union with source energy and the source light, but also the spiritual realms, the spiritual entities, the masters, the teachers, the archangels that are around us, and they've always been present. It's just we've not been at a state of evolution, spiritual evolution, on this planet where we can start to open up again. And there's a lot happening around that at the moment. Like I said with this Lord Kuthumi, it is like an illumination. It's about awakening. It's about awareness, and it's about this ascension. And the ascension is so this unconditional sort of process of source energy is a unconditional sort of like, in the spiritual terms, means to me anything that takes you back into harmony, anything that takes you back into oneness, anything that takes you back into that one vibration, which is where we're supposed to live. We're supposed to not feel disconnected. We're not supposed to feel separated. We're supposed to feel in union with our source energy, the source creator, and we should feel in union with our own energy and our own light, our own vibration, our own frequency. And there is no separation. The separation is the illusion, as well as the physical reality is the illusion times the illusion. And this is why it's so important to be present as well, and in presence. And illumination is how we do that as well, because when we're in that source energy, we're connected. We're connected to creation. We're connected to the creative spark. We're connected to the one vibration. We're open as well. We're open to receive, so we feel more connected to the spiritual sort of like realities, the spiritual sort of like dimensions. And this is what this time's about. And this is what's happening a lot, I feel, it in this moment. The sort of the more that you sort of open up to these, and you start connecting into your own source energy and the light energy and the light frequency within you, the more you'll connect to these masters, the more you'll start to connect to these entities that will help you with, your spiritual journey and your spiritual sort of reality, but they'll help guide you as well. I've also felt over the last couple of days, I always sort of like getting sort of like into this notion of higher self and infinite self, and I keep getting sort of like where I'm in that source energy and I'm in that light energy, I'm in that sort of like light frequencies. I've been getting this kind of feeling where there's like a white being that appears behind me. He's got long white hair, a long white beard, and he's dressed in white. So this is like purity, truth, like but it's like healing, but understanding, wisdom, all of that. Like white is like one of the highest awareness, so vibrations, the highest frequencies, because it's a pure energy, it's a pure light. And this being that steps forward in this, dressed in this white, I feel is the higher aspect of myself, my being. And the more that I'm connecting into this kind of connection at the moment, the more I'm starting to feel that the energy step forward and is with me. And as I go through my sort of like my life at the moment, my channel is opening up. I feel like the masters are more sort of present. I've been seeing, like, the last couple of days, I've been seeing this being that is dressed in yellow, and he's got a staff. It looks like he wears some sort of crown or something like that. It's got the flower of life in a circle that appears before it, and sort of the colours of like orange, blue, and white go with this being as well. But I feel like it's like when I've looked at archangel cards before, like Dorian Virtue archangel cards, I've looked at those, or the Oracle of the Archangel cards. It's like a being that's around or has been part of that and I feel like that energy is there. But I'm saying the channels are opening up. They're opening up all the time. When you start to open, and you start to sort of integrate this energy and this light, and you start to become more connected to source energy. Well, that's the insight for today. So I suppose just try and see how you come back into the unconditional. For one, to open your channel up, give unconditionally to receive, which is the natural flow of the universe. Also, illumination is important. So sort of like see how, what things are illuminating, what things in your life bring you energy, bring you light, open you up, make you feel sort of like energized. And that could be a sort of a key, again, it's a key that will unlock sort of like um, unlock sort of like opportunities or realities that you can connect to bring you more in harmony with yourself, and more in harmony with source, and more in harmony with your infinite being that lives within you. Check out my Facebook, please comment, subscribe. I'd love any questions as well.